Why was Dr. King collecting weapons if he really believed in nonviolence? See, one thing we got to get better at, we have to recognize when our leaders are in front of the white man's camera, they might have to say one thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what they believe in. What is the essence of war? Deception. When Malcolm came back from the Middle East and Malcolm said, I saw Muslims of every color. And if the white man in America accepts Islam, I think Islam can do for the white man in America what is done for white men in the Middle East. That was propaganda. Well, what was the propaganda for, doctor? I'm going to tell you. I want to say something because in Anchorage, Alaska, I'll be speaking on Dr. King's True Earth Day, the 15th. And on the federal holiday, the 19th, I'll be in Chattanooga, Tennessee for the first time honoring Dr. King. Now, as a Pan-African nationalist, as a Garveyite, some people can't understand why I have so much admiration for this man, Dr. King. But I want to say this to you black people. We have to be careful into buying into the falsified descriptions of our ancestors that were fabricated by white folks. Dr. King had a whole lot more going for himself than just a damn dream. The man was not perfect. That's true. He made his mistakes. That's true. But how many men you know can go to jail over 300 times? How many men you know can have his house firebombed twice? How many men you know with a doctorate degree, born in a middle-class family, could have fell back and had a megachurch like T.D. Jakes or some damn body, but instead said, I'm going to stand for my people if it costs me my life. Don't you let white folk take Dr. King from us. I don't care what they put in the history book. I don't care what they talk about at the White House. We got to make sure we know who the real Dr. King was. We got to know that the Southern Christian Leadership Conference knew that nonviolence was just a tactic. It wasn't their religion. Because if it was their religion, you're going to have to understand why they had a stockade of weapons on standby. Why was Dr. King collecting weapons if he really believed in nonviolence? See, one thing we got to get better at, we have to recognize when our leaders are in front of the white man's camera, they might have to say one thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what they believe in. What is the essence of war? Deception. When Malcolm came back from the Middle East and Malcolm said, I saw Muslims of every color. And if the white man in America accepts Islam, I think Islam can do for the white man in America what is done for white men in the Middle East. That was propaganda. Well, what was the propaganda for, doctor? I'm going to tell you, Malcolm needed to open up a public avenue to work with Dr. King and the civil rights movement. He had to make it publicly acceptable to black people so he could work with Dr. King. Some of you judged Malcolm and ridiculed Malcolm. If he was a damn integrationist, what he doing running around with Kwame Nkrumah and them? If he was an integrationist, what was he doing speaking at Garvey days? If he was an integration, why did Malcolm never change his position that black people need to have organizations of their own? Don't let nobody steal our ancestors' memories from us. And if we're going to talk about saving King, we're going to talk about saving my ancestor. The greatest black man to ever walk on American soil. And that's the Honorable Frederick Douglass. Let me say this. I see the underhand remarks that certain people make about Frederick Douglass in an attempt to hit me. But they don't want to hit me straight on because they know I hit the hell back. It's very true and unacceptable about the fact that as an old man, Frederick Bailey married a white woman. Wrong and unacceptable. I do not condone it. But let me tell you what else I'm not going to condone. I'm not going to condone black folk skipping over a blue, black, purple, nappy-headed black woman named Anna Murray Douglas. His first and only real wife, who helped them run from slavery to freedom, helped them build up the abolitionist movement, gave him all of his children. Y'all give the white woman more credit than the queen who made it. I don't have a problem with you repudiating the fact he married that white woman, but recognize when he did it and why he did it. Not acceptable. But y'all talk of her as if he married her when he escaped from slavery. Y'all talk of her as if she gave him his children. Do you realize I was at a fundraiser 2 weeks ago and the sister came up and picked up the Fred Douglass, Marcus Garvey iron-on patch, and we had the Anna Douglass, Amy Garvey button, and she said, Dr. Umar, can you explain to me why you would name a school for African girls after a white woman? I said, Queen, what are you talking about? She said, you don't know that Anna Douglass was white? I said, you fool. That woman was blue, black, purple, big lip, broad nose, nappy kitchen, and everything. Loved her to death, blue, black, purple woman. A leader in her day and time, brothers and sisters. So all I'm saying is when you level your criticisms, put it in the right context, or you mislead the next generation. We got kids running around, Frederick Douglass married a white woman. They don't know he was an old man a few years from death. They don't know that the woman he damn near died from depression over was a black woman. Don't let nobody steal our heroes. A man who taught himself how to read under punishment of death. The only black leader who was a leader in both slavery and freedom. A black man who single-handedly, with one book, Narrative of the Life, challenged white, racist, eugenicists, false assumptions that black folk were the intellectual inferiors of white folk. They said he didn't write this book. No way in hell a Negro wrote something like this, having received no formal education. So Frederick told the abolitionists, I'm going to have to name my slave master. They said it's suicide to do that. He said, I don't have a choice. If these people believe I'm a fraud, I will not be able to fight for my people's freedom. They got to know that this came from my hands. And then when he had to go to London, because the slave tracker was after him, the white folks over in England raised enough money to buy his freedom. And they came to Frederick Douglass and said, listen, don't go back home. Send for your wife and sons and bring them on over here. You can live happily ever after in England. He said, I cannot do that. Until my people are free, I'm not free either. I'm going back. Don't let nobody steal our ancestors. Ida B. Wells, who worked with Marcus Garvey, read what she said about Douglass. She said, I had bought into the general opinion of many black folk that he had begun to change his position on white people And then as an old man, I went to an event that Frederick Douglass was keynote speaker at. And she said, everything I had been led to believe about this man was wrong. And that indeed he still was the preeminent leader of black folk in this country. Don't let nobody steal our ancestors from you.